Good morning. I'm sitting outside the court and waiting for a hearing, which probably be very, very short because I need a public attorney to be assigned for my case. In any case, I thought that it's a good opportunity to discuss an issue which is probably will be trivial to anyone who listens to me that is part of the intelligence community of any place, actually, not only in Israel but in any place. And it's YouTube is a free public stage, and so anyone that can wants to listen could listen, and but maybe they have some questions, a specific question that I should answer, and then the question is regarding my relations with the intelligence community, because I always say that I do not see myself and I'm not as a fact a person of the intelligence community, and the fact that the scumbags of the Israeli intelligence community surrounds me like all my life is not my fault. It's a situation that I was born into, literally, and doesn't make me a person of the intelligence community, and I should not and do not act by their standards. I don't need to be secretive about anything. My life is not a secret, even though they wanted, the intelligence community wants it to be a secret because they want to control it, of course. And when I say to control it, I mean to gain the most material advantages out of it, because, as I said many times, the intelligence community in Israel it deals very little with actual intelligence. It acts as a slave trading company, a big slave trading company, the Israeli slave trading company. And the West and East Israeli slave company, and that's what it's 90% of what they do is both the Mossad and the Shabak and parts of the Amman. What they do is, but especially the Shabak, of course. Most of what they do is actually to manage their slaves. It's a slave company, slavers company. So. They want to get more money by any means possible, and of course complete subjugation and inhuman treatment of anyone that they think that they could do to them. Actually, is the main course of action of how exactly material gain is accumulated. So since I was never part of any intelligence community, buying, of course, I served in the intelligence corps, as part of my military science service, but it was in technological capacity, like a technological profession, specifically computer programmer. And since then, I didn't have any relation with any intelligence agency in Israel, and of course it's not in my agenda. So some people, with their naivety, ask me, and again, this comes only from outside the intelligence community, because it's pretty naive. So how can you even tell who is in it and who is not? It seems that you go to places and you think that, who is in that or who is not. So how can you tell it? Can you? You don't have the chip in your ear like they have the chip. You don't get commands from pedophiles and prostitutes like all the intelligence community people are getting commands all their life. So how could you even identify them? The fact that you think that you can identify them, it either means that you are one of them, or maybe you have some kind of grandiosity problem, that you think that you can identify things without any actual rational way of doing it. That, of course, is very naive, and the answer is actually much more simpler than you can imagine. It's extremely easy to identify them because they all act the same, and you must understand that repetitiveness is the pillar of all the behavior of intelligence people in Israel. Perhaps maybe in other places as well, but in Israel it's extremely bold. You can see it all the time. Since I understood that the intelligence community, see myself as a target, and as I said many times, it happened during the first half of the year 2019, and I've already discussed the circumstances and I've spoken about it and written about it at length. It happened while I worked in MyHeritage, but it's not only. I mean, it's not only related to MyHeritage. It was many things that accumulated together. So since I understood that, I mean, the first thing that was very clear to me is that they repeat what they do all the time. I mean, the repetitiveness is their main. Really, it's like the credo, like the sacred, as I said, the pillar of existence, pillar of behavior for certain, and maybe even the pillar of their existence is the fact that they repeat themselves. They all act the same and again and again and again, and sometimes you can even, I mean, you can spend days like with like the feelings that you've already been in this movie like several times, like because you see like a series of humans, possibly humans that you've never seen before, and they are doing the same things like again and again and again and again, and then they even talk. I mean, they use the same tricks and the same stupid like ridiculous I don't know, exercises in stupidity that I mean after sometimes you even it's easy even to understand what's the supposed purpose or rationale without it. Within that is supposed to like take place. Behind the stupid behaviors that of course mostly comes from like commands that these people get in their UHF chip here. That they get also all sorts of commands from pedophiles and prostitutes of the Shabak, and mostly they regurgitate, like they masticate again and again the same shit that people in the Shabak already like masticated, and it's like a recycled shit that all of them like to chew and then to spit on the mouths of each other. So yeah, it's disgusting. Exactly the sounds, and possibly even more. If you want like specific example, there are so many that I don't even know where to start. But I know that I need to supply some kind of example, like because so you will be able to understand. So for example, you need to understand that organizations like the Shabak, they don't know anything about nothing. Their skill. They accept people to the ranks because they demonstrated the skill. The only skill they need to be demonstrated is either like if you're a male, you need to be a pedophile, which is enough. It's not only enough. It's the skill that gets you into the ranks. And if you're a woman, you need to be a slave from Venus. So that's it. Like either a slave or a pedophile. That's what you need to be. Nothing more than that. That's the minimal and the maximal qualification level. So it's both the minimal and the maximal qualification level. So they act in very, very low standards of like behavior. For example, most of their behavior is surrounds all sorts of like theories that I've discussed in the past, and it's such stupidity that I'm embarrassed even to speak about it. But that's 90% of what they do. Surrounds like all sorts of like theories of psychological intervention or psychological influence that supposed to occur when you subject a person to repeatedly to all sorts of like triggers that will eventually cause the person to be conditioned like Pavlovic, like a Pavlovian dog, to be conditioned to all sorts of like trigger like numbers or words or specific behaviors that supposedly will cause the person to act in a way that is beneficial from the point of view of intelligent people. And it sounds like it was taken from like an article of Ma'ariv LaNoar, like from 1980s, for like a youth, like a young adult newspaper from 1980 or 1981, and it's practically not far from it. That's it. It's something that they read like in a newspaper which is aimed for idiots, or very low intelligence people, maybe 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 years ago, and they stick with it because it's very easy to implement. And you need to understand that they have a lot of people in Israel, and mostly, as I said, their main skill, like either slaves or pedophiles. That's what they are. They don't need to be anything else, and they don't require to be anything else. So they have zero like skills or education or something like that, or nothing. So it's the most easiest way to implement are the kind of like tricks that have almost zero like effect, like zero demonstrated effect. There's no evidence at all in reality, but it's really easy to implement because any person, no matter how stupid it can be, even a retarded person can implement those tricks. And the fact that it doesn't work doesn't really matter for them, because all they need to do is just to do the same thing again and again. They don't actually need to watch if it causes results. They don't care about results at all. It's like a cult that keep repeating the same rituals again and again and again. So, for example, you could ask me, give us an example. What kind of ritual you speak about? So I'll give you a specific example. I don't care to just spit it out. You say the words. For example, according to their belief, which is, it's so ridiculous that it's embarrassing to even speak about it, but that's the way it is. Like, if they do something like that or like this, and they do it in a very, bold way, like that you need to, they only do it when they see that you are there and to watch it, and they do it in a very, pronounced way, like that or this, when you watch. This is because you, presumably myself, is one of the, I belong to the subhuman species, like to the underhumans. So we are conditioned against this kind of movement, according to the theory that I don't know where they came from it, but anyway. So this slows us down and puts us in a way that is very easy to influence. Specifically, it probably reduces our will to do almost anything. Now, why would they even want us to be in that position? It's best because they think they can. They don't need any specific reason to do it. Because they want to keep you down. So every time, 100% of the people that are related to the Shabak, I'm not kidding, close to 100%, when I come to a new place, like when I arrive in a place, if they are, you can identify the people that belong to the Shabak by them waiting for me to look at them, and when I look at them, they pronouncedly do this act. And by that mean in this way you can identify maybe 90% or 95% of all the people that belong to the Shabak, wherever you are going. And so you might ask, that sounds ridiculous. That's so stupid that, why would they even, and it's so easy to identify them that way. And why do they keep doing such ridiculous acts? So I'll answer, it's only the tip of the iceberg. I could sit for hours and describe behaviors that are impossibly ridiculous that they act to engage in. But that's the way they are. You need to understand, it's not really an intelligence agency. The Shabak is a slave trade company. That's what they are. That's what they do. They are in the slave trade business. They are not intelligence agency. They do not deal with intelligence, and they don't have any capacity to deal with intelligence, and especially not with the modern kind of, if you know anything about intelligence agencies in the modern world, like things like the CIA or the MI6, you know that these people, they are not morally superior. Of course, they are full of scumbags as well, as I said before, and they have their share of pedophiles and homosexuals and whatever. But they are skillful people. They have profession. They learn things because there is a lot to learn as part of the modern intelligence profession. And this is, nothing of it even remotely exists in the Shabak. Even remotely exists. Their only profession is the profession of the trade of slaves. So that's what they do. They are in the the slave trade business, and for it to take place, they don't need more than this and that and all sorts of ridiculous behavior that I'm ashamed to even discuss, but I will do it later because I think that it should be recorded. So because people in the future will not even believe that that was the state of Israel. So these things need to be recorded.